Hello, this is a video in response to discussion board 1 Q&A. I always like to ask questions and let you ask me questions because there's a lot going on in the beginning of the semester and just trying to get our uh, course settled out and try to figure out what we are doing. So some of the concerns that you've brought up are very common, workload, how do I get everything done? I'm not a good writer, all those sorts of questions. So I hope you can see from this list is that a lot of you are concerned about the same things, and that's okay. It's natural to say, well, this is a new situation, and I don't know what to expect. That's all right. We're gonna get along and make things work. Some things I do want you to consider, of course, is always find a good balance for your work, your school life, and your regular life. A lot of you are doing a lot of different things. Some of you are CCP students, so you're taking high school classes and doing all those things that you do there. And I don't know how you have time for it all, but somehow it works. This course, if you go into Blackboard, I'm going to come up here and just go into the course schedule, print this out, and just look at, okay, here's when things are due, and get an idea of these due dates. And I do have, like, our book review is due week 7, but before that, we have the book review draft due that Sunday. So that'd be February 21st, so week 5. And then as we move into week 8 and week 9, you'll see that the readings just really drop off. There's a lot of reading at the beginning. You can see no more readings after like week 8, week 9. We're just working on this project, and we have a lot of different drafts that are due. You're going to write a draft, you're going to submit it to a small group discussion board who is then going to provide you some feedback. You're going to work on this big project over the course of week 8, 9 through 13, and it's a good amount of time to really start to develop these thoughts. So it'll be focused. You'll have plenty of time. So make sure you look at the schedule, try to get an idea, plan your life out a little bit to what you can control. There's only so much you can control, and that's all right. As I said here, this is a 3-hour course, meaning that if we were in class meeting, we'd meet for 2.5 hours. I don't know why it's called a 3-hour course because we only meet for 1 hour and 15, but that's the way it goes. So you're still getting the amount of work, but you're kind of doing it and I'm guiding you through it. So it's a little bit different. When it comes to writing, you don't need to memorize MLA because you might end up using APA or Chicago. The idea is that how do you get these resources to understand what citation style you need to know? And that is learning your discipline, meaning the area of focus, the study emphasis that you do, and how do they like their information organized. That's all that MLA is. It stands for Modern Language Association, and here's how we like our information organized. Some other questions. Panic button. So I thought I went over that in the course tour under the start here thing, but maybe I didn't. But the panic button, if you don't know what it is, just click it. It's not going to go off or anything. This is just, what do you do if you miss a class, you miss a week or whatever? Click on this. When is it okay? So these are things that you should think about. You can miss class. This is an online class, but illnesses, unplanned emergencies, like what emergencies are planned, right? Funerals, the birth of your child. That should be of, not or. Your funeral, if you're dead, you can't come to class, and that'll be understandable. I hope that doesn't happen, but I just put that in there as a joke. Other times, instructors are going to be peeved if you have an appointment that can't be rescheduled. You're like, oh, I had a doctor's appointment. It's like, this is the only time we meet. Could you not find another thing? Childcare, that's going to be an instructor-based thing. I mean, I'm sympathetic to it. Same thing with work, high school activities, but others might be like, well, this is your planned time. Why aren't you planning around it? Big joke in school is that multiple grandmas. It's like every other day grandma's dead. So how many grandmas can you have? But just be aware that some things are more important than other. But any time you are missing class, you should be contacting your classmates. Say, hey, I missed. Do you have any notes? Talk to the instructor. Say, hey, I'm sorry I missed. You should hopefully email the instructor before you miss a class. Ask what work you can make up. Ask if what notes will be posted. That sort of thing. Don't say, hey, did we do anything important? Because, I mean, it's like, you're saying what you do is not important otherwise. Let's see. Don't ask for credits for assignments for which attendance is necessary. Sometimes you're just going to have to take the loss, and that happens. Don't ask to be retaught the class. Be like, tell me everything I missed, right? There was a time for that. So that's the panic button. There's some other things in the panic button. How do you communicate? This is some little drafts. If you have a question or grades, right? I say be respectful. Explain your concern with the grade. Don't be like, hey, I worked really hard. Well, we want you to work hard. So don't say that, or don't be like, hey, my mom really liked my paper. Why did you give me an F? Right? Well, your mom loves you no matter what you do. So she's going to tell you it's a good paper. All these things are important. We call this grade grubbing, begging, or pleading, right? So, just say, hey, I'm trying to understand my grade better. Can you help me understand it, right? Those sorts of little things. Other times, things are going wrong. Just contact somebody. I have a big list of advice from former students. This is from, I think, a year ago, not this last semester. And then, if you miss an assignment, just contact me. Sometimes I'm going to put a 0 by accident because I have to manually enter the grades, and that's how I type, and I might miss that first number, and it happens. So I'm sorry about that. But just, I'll always fix it. I won't ever penalize you for my errors. So otherwise, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in this class, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a challenge, but I hope it's going to be interesting and help you think differently, think a little bit more outside the box, think more thoroughly about something. Let's see. So questions for me, I always love letting you ask me questions, because for me it's, how are you going to know I'm going to answer your questions unless I actually answer any question? I'm not one of those people that say there's no such thing as a dumb question. There are dumb questions, but just because it's a dumb question doesn't mean it doesn't deserve an answer. So I'll always give you an answer. So a lot of this is, personal stuff, why do I teach English and that sort of stuff. So I have some stories in here that are good. I really like question 2. This person, I think, was the one who wants to be a lawyer, which this is good. So let's see. Big thing that I want you to get out of this class is just think for yourself. Look for the answers. Try to detect the bull stuff that's out there, and cut through it. You don't have to accept it. Let's see other things. Should I have done something different? Yeah, engineering or some science, something. I always like that sort of stuff. I like music. So I think that's a thing for you to really think about, is that I say it later on. It's really unfair to all of you who are in high school to have to think about what career you want to do for the rest of your life. I'm looking for where I say that. I don't know where I say it. Maybe. Oh, well, where you have to find a career that you want to do for the rest of your life and plan for it 5 or 6 years in advance before you even go into that career. And you don't know what the job market's going to be. That's really just unfair to all of you. You will change jobs, you will change interests, and that's okay. I have a little story about how I became an English teacher, where I thought I wanted to be an English teacher, and then I realized I didn't once I started doing it, and then I came back to it after taking a class at Edison State as an adult. I was 24 or 25, something like that. I was like, wow, I would like to be here, and I like working with these students, because the students are what makes the class interesting. I don't get the same group every time. I get this wonderful mix of, 16, 17-year-olds and 60-year-olds and everyone in between. And it's just great because we can really learn from each other just as much as you learn from me, and I learn from you every time I teach. And it's great. It's just really interesting. So Oh, I do say down here where it's unfair. Anyway, so talk to people. If you don't know what you want to do, that's fine. Don't feel that pressure. Take your time. Talk to anybody who has a job that seems interesting. How did you get here? Do you like your job? What do you like about it? Because there's not a college major for a bookstore owner. If you want to own your own bookstore, you got to figure that out, how it's going to go. I would love to have a bookstore, right? That'd be really cool. But there's a lot of things you have to consider. So go to your local bookstore and talk about it. Maybe you don't need a master's of business administration. Maybe you can just do it on your own. Maybe it helps to have some business classes. Maybe you just want to be a doctor or radiation technician or something, radiotherapy technician, and things like that. There's a lot of really, really cool jobs out there. Let me go here real quick. Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov. I know you can't see it, but it comes up a little bit. BLS.gov. This is a great website. And if you go into publications, there's a lot of different things, but publications, and look at the Occupational Outlook Handbook. These are all the major types of jobs that are out there. So it's all in categories. One year I had a student say, man, I would just like to watch movies and talk about them and maybe review them. I'm like, dude, I call him dude, I think actually. I said, you can do a film studies major. He's like, you can actually study that in college? I'm like, yeah. It's not here, but you can go to Wright State and do that. They have a really good film school. So all these things for media and communications. So, film and video editor. Okay. Interpreter. You can become an interpreter? Really? All sorts of really cool things that are out there. And you click on this, I would be a sports announcer, right? Oh, you can make some decent money. What do you do? Where do you do it? How to become one? What the pay is? So this is, the median, which is kind of right in the middle. The job outlook. If you click this, you will see, oh, well, is it expected to grow? And it's not really expected to grow that much. So it's not, the hot job that's growing. It's very minuscule. So in 10 years, they're expecting it to grow by 2,000. Right. So what you want to do is find a career where everybody working in it is really old and about ready to retire, so you can just swoop in and take over. Right. So you can move around and look at this and see where it is. It'll even tell you like where to go. So you can look at these various things. It'll tell you individual state projections. That's really cool if it takes you to the link. I don't know. I'm not going to bury you through this link. But anyway, yeah, just talk to people. I've been teaching for 14 years, and I really enjoyed it. I like it at Edison State. I like the students. I like the faculty. I like my coworkers. I like this area. I live in the area. I don't think I'd want to be anywhere else besides here. Sometimes I thought, man, teaching at a four-year school would be kind of cool, but I wouldn't get the same students. I'd get, people who, I don't know, think they don't need to learn anything. I think I'm afraid of getting those students because they're not fun to work with, I don't think. Anyway, that's yeah. But, maybe I can get free tuition for my kids, right? That would be the only positive, but they're going to be all right. Hopefully they'll get some scholarships. Anyway, I hope this answers your questions. If you have other questions, please ask. Some of you didn't ask questions, and you should get used to asking questions because that's going to be something that's going to happen like in job interviews and things like that. Where they'll be like, do you have any questions? You'll be like, nope. And that just shows the interviewers that you aren't interested. You're not really interested. If you had questions, even if it came from spur of the moment based on something that was brought up, that's great. If you have planned questions, that's great. But always have a question or two, and I think that will show your interest. And you can ask people like, well, what do you like best about working for blank company? That's always a good one. Or turning around or asking about advancement or long-term stuff like that. That's always good. Show that you're interested in working there. So anyway, that's a long rambling video about your Q&A, and I hope it was a little helpful. Thank you for watching.